Hey, I was just thinking about some music earlier, and one of the tunes I was listening to just kind of made me think of some old friends. And it turns out that's what most of the music I listen to. It's because of memories. You call it nostalgia, but it's important. You hear a song and it brings you back to that time. Even songs you don't care for. Now I was never a pop guy, but pop of the late '80s, mid '80s to late '80s. I can smell the suntan oil around the pool. When I hear a certain song. Even though it's not something I enjoy it. So, but it's important to keep talking to people that shares new music with you. Don't just get caught in a rut only listening to your old memories, man. You got to keep up with people that are going to introduce you and hip you to new tunes. I've always been lucky with that. I always had, somebody new around that would, turn me on to something new, or, guide me in the right direction. When I found my own music, well, not my own music, but, when I got off of mom and dad's tunes, and started listening to my own stuff, there was Quiet Riot and Twisted Sister type of area, Kiss was already around, but I always found them a little too disco. But everybody, the musical journey is important. Years later, I'm listening to hair metal, and then thrash came out, and I was really into that, and then death metal and black metal and all this other stuff. But I've still got friends that friends and loved ones that there's some pop tunes that are in my mix because they remind me of people. And I'm not talking about '80s stuff. I'm talking about modern day. You ride shotgun with me for long enough, you will hear a Taylor Swift song pop up in my mix. Not something you'd expect from me, but if you know me, you do expect it from me, because that's what I do. Keep it, keep it moving, keep it eclectic, keep it changing up at all times. But I had, I had a lot of people guide me over the years. I had one friend who, took a look at my music library and, questioned me on a couple things, like not the Taylor Swift. He wouldn't have minded that I had pop tunes. He's always going to give me shit. He was the one that gave me shit for still listening to Poison. But man, that's party rock and roll. You can't take it serious. You just got to laugh and rock with it. But he looked at it and he saw a particular genre I had that he's like, why do you have this? And it was I actually created my own genre in iTunes called offensive music, because it was just straight up, not anything I want to show up in my mix. So it was everything except for that. And he's like, why do you hang on to that? That's not who you are, is it? And, I had to reassure him, no, it's not. But there was a period of time when, I was hanging with the right people and, well, the wrong people, and I was heading that direction or whatever. So having those tunes available as a reminder, a dark reminder, it's not something I crank out every weekend and I'm rocking out to it. It reminds me, again, just like the suntan oil and around the pool, I can smell the stale weed and stale beer, and I can smell the hate. And it keeps me honest. It keeps me real. It keeps me, negotiating with myself at all times to be a better person. So music can do good. Music can do bad. So is this about music? Yeah, but it's really about not erasing your history. You don't have to celebrate it. You don't have to put it up on a pedestal. I'm not going to break out these particular bands and listen to them on a regular basis. But when I go through my library and I see them, I'll be like, oh yeah. And that's all that's necessary. I prefer to be reminded. It keeps me honest. So anyway, yeah, I've got, new guys I just met hit me to some bands that I missed along the way. Like, oh, we got to try this. We got to try that. Yeah, I joined a band and then made the decision to move. That's a recurring theme in my life. It happened right before I left Jacksonville, and now it's happening as I leave Long Island. So when I get to Nashua, I'm not going to meet anybody. I'm not joining any bands because I'll just leave again, and it sucks. Finally getting to play live with somebody and going, well, that was fun for an hour. I'm out. So, all right. Anyway, don't erase your history. Don't celebrate the ugly parts, but keep it there. Remind yourself, we're just one bad day away from turning into the worst versions of ourselves. So don't be that guy. So.